welcome back to another episode of It's in the Details. As always, please remember to smash those buttons and tell a friend to tell a friend. I got to get into it. NBA All-Star festivities. All of them. The whole weekend. Okay? Saturday, Sunday, even Friday, there's some stuff. Friday, they started out, there's a celebrity game I can't bother to participate in watching. But then they had the Rising Stars game. The Rising Stars game is very interesting to me. They really take the opportunity to put their young, hopefully shiny, brand new stars on display. The ones that aren't good enough yet or well known enough yet to be in the big time All-Star game. But they give them their own little game on Friday. I think it used to be split up USA versus the world or something to that effect. There was a rookie and a sophomore game, things like that. This time they just mushed all the rising stars together, right? They mushed them all together, split them up into 4 teams, and created a tournament. Put a cap on the amount of points they were going to, and really created 3 intense basketball games. I even saw the celebrity / alumni coaches arguing with one another during those games on Friday. Great display of athleticism, competition, even some strategy came out during those Rising Star games. Fine, right? Then we got Saturday. Saturday is typically the crown jewel of the NBA All-Star weekend. Okay? Now, I've been watching that for decades. I've been all over NBA All-Star weekend, and there was a period of time where I was going to a buddy's house every weekend to watch the NBA All-Star festivities. And funny enough, that was Valentine's Day weekend. Now, I'm pretty sure we both had girlfriends through that time period. You know what I mean? Like the 3-4 years or whatever when I was going to his house to watch the NBA All-Star festivities. I don't know if it was just that nobody celebrated Valentine's Day. It doesn't matter what I feel about Valentine's Day, but I don't know if none of us were celebrating Valentine's Day, but we got together every Valentine's Day night to watch the NBA All-Star festivities. And the situation this year is the NFL added an extra week to its schedule, pushing the Super Bowl back 1 week, thus chasing the NBA off of its date back 1 week because they knew that nothing they're doing this weekend could compete with what the NFL did the weekend prior, right? So they said, let us get up off the NFL's weekend. That's their weekend now. So we're going to do our stuff on the Saturday. So I haven't hung out with that friend on NBA All-Star festivity night in quite some time. And I've got some other friends that decided to throw some parties the last few NBA All-Star weekends. So that's where I was this Saturday. And the company was great. I really enjoyed everybody I was hanging out with, right? The festivities, not so much. There was a skills competition that they continue to revamp. Snoring, it was not great. I did not enjoy it. Then you got the 3-point competition, and the 3-point competition is my jam. Like that's what I'm here for. When I played ball, I was never that good. I never put the time into it to be that good either, but I was never that good at ball. But I could shoot the lights out. Could I shoot the lights out with a hand in the face? I don't know. I don't know if someone was defending me hard. I didn't play that much organized ball, but just leave me in a gym, to put up some shots. I'm knocking them down. So when it comes 3-point competition time, I'm ready. I'm ready to see what's happening. This year, I sent my friends a note and I said, hey, I heard Fred VanVleet's going to be in the 3-point competition. Before I heard that, I did not care about watching any of this stuff. If y'all are going to get together, I'm going to come hang out, but I don't think I care that much about the festivities. And that's pretty much what ended up happening. He said, we're going to do it. I said, cool, I'm coming. And then it was not fun. It was like the games, the stuff on the screen was not that fun, right? Fred VanVleet, I'm glad you were there. And anybody watching on YouTube, never forget the 2019 Raptors were the NBA champions, right? Never forget that. But mad respect, Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry. But back to the festivities. I was bored. I was real bored. And as far as the 3-point competition goes, there are typically some big stars, some big names, some superstar names, usually a Steph Curry, a Klay Thompson, even a Damian Lillard. You get some names, right? This year, there were some names, but it's like, I mean, unless you want only basketball fans to be thoroughly excited about what's going on your Saturday night, these names don't do it. Any non-basketball people listening to this: Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, CJ McCollum. Like, CJ McCollum's a basketball head name, but like people that don't care about the NBA. Patty Mills, solid basketball player. Australian. He's played for quite a number of teams in the NBA. If you don't follow the NBA, you don't care about no Patty Mills. Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's a name you should know if you care about basketball. He's won, I think, a couple of the best dunk competitions we've ever seen, and he's a rising star. His team, I believe, is number 1 or 2 in their division. In their conference. But nobody's showing up to the 3-point competition because of Zach LaVine. Then you got FVV, like I told you. He was there. You got Trae Young, who was probably the biggest draw. He's one of these young dudes that shoots 3-pointers from everywhere. And then you got Karl Anthony Towns, a 7-footer, who has every skill in the world, but you can't get his team to win games at all in the regular season, and therefore they're not making the playoffs. So if you don't know basketball, you don't care about him either, right? And those were the contestants. And then the big man won, the 7-footer won, which I guess should be more interesting than it was, but it wasn't. It just wasn't. Like, you look at these names, you look at these players, it's like you're looking through a funhouse mirrors of who the contestants should have been. No Steph. Steph's competed a bunch of times. No Steph Curry. Whatever, I guess. I mean, Luke Kennard, I know he's hitting some. Anyway, I was not impressed by the 3-point competition. And then you got the slam dunk competition. The dunk competition, okay? Now, this is what they save to end the event. And there have been several years in, let's say, a few years in the last 10, where it warranted being the prime time piece of All-Star Saturday night. That's not what we had this weekend. It's not what we had this weekend. You want to talk about big names and stars and people that would draw your attention to the screen. Non-basketball people. Obi Toppin. Juan Toscano Anderson. Jalen Green. Cole Anthony. Again, from me, no disrespect to any of these athletes I'm talking about. None. But y'all don't know who these people are. Nobody knows. You guys don't know who these people are, right? And they're responsible for finishing NBA Saturday night, All-Star Saturday night on a high note. And these poor gentlemen could not get it done. They I think I heard a stat, they missed something like 17 dunks. 17. It's not like they were doing backflips. Like, they were doing regular dunks we've seen people do before. And just couldn't get them through the rim. Not even like, it was really bad. And I know people like to dunk on the dunk competition. Excuse my puns, but it was not good, and I'm not sure what the solution is. I hear some people say there are better dunkers all over the world. On YouTube, you could find some dunkers. Let's get them in, and let's get them to display their abilities, and that would be what the dunk contest is about. And then you got some hardline NBA people that say, this is an NBA event. You got to be in the league to compete. The cops are coming for how terrible this dunk competition was. But they already kind of breached that NBA business with letting a few G Leaguers, like the second tier NBA, like the developmental league for the NBA, they let some of those guys in the Rising Star games on the Friday, right? So maybe you open up the dunk competition to some people that are on their way to the NBA, because I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to watch it anymore. And the thing for me is, if I link this back to the Super Bowl, I like the Super Bowl. I like football, right? Super Bowl parties are weird for me because I want to pay attention to the game because I care about what's happening in the game, right? You got all sorts of people buffeting and talking and drinking and standing in places they don't need to stand. All sorts of things are happening at a Super Bowl party. But no shade to any of those people. They're having fun. Right? They're having fun. The NBA All-Star festivities are becoming that for me because I no longer care about what's happening on the screen. I'm at this event to hang with my people and have a good time while there's some basketball-like things happening on the TV. So I guess what we got here, both for the viewers and for the NBA, is a real make it work situation. Now make it work. Whatever that means to you. Okay, so we need to discuss the Olympics. The Winter Olympics in Beijing. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know I like the Olympics. I like the Olympics a lot. I am pumped every time the Olympics come around, even if nobody else is. Okay? I'm more partial to the Summer Olympics than the Winter. So I went through some sleep deprivation when the Summer Olympics were here because I was trying to watch everything. I had to take all of it in. The Winter Olympics showed up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna see what happens. Leading up to the Olympics, a lot of skiing was on. They were showing a lot of skiing on the TV, so I was watching the skiing, and I was like, oh. Downhill skiing is where it's at. I've recently noticed I'm a fan of speed with all the F1 I've been watching, and downhill skiing is that with no car. So excited. The Olympics get here. I'm not a ceremony person. I don't deal with the opening or the closing ceremonies. No thanks. And I'm a big time curling fan. There's a lot of curling in the Olympics. We'll talk about it. But skiing, curling, I'll turn on a little bobsledding here and there. I'll check out some of the sports, right? My problem with the Olympics, as I'm sure the problems you may have had as well, is they're so far away from here. The time, the time difference was too much. It was too much for me again, right? But also, when I was diligent and I said, hey, PVR, you know what's coming on at 4 o'clock in the morning? Some skiing, some curling, some whatever, right? Early in the Olympics. I'm like, okay, I'm going to set that up, record that, have it on the next day, see what's going on with these results. Wake up the next morning, turn them on, turn on the skiing ain't on. So I recorded 3 hours or whatever of an event, and then either the weather delayed it or it just didn't show up. You know what I mean? Just wasn't there. They showed something else. I didn't have the heart to stick around to find out why it wasn't on. It just wasn't on when it was supposed to be on. And you know when you're doing something and you're trying to do the right thing so you can enjoy the thing and then it doesn't show up? You know how that makes you feel? Not happy. I was not happy. And then a couple days later, I'm getting ready to watch some curling, getting ready to cheer on some John Morris or Brad Gushu or Rachel Holman, any of my peoples that are at curling for Canada, any of them, right? I'm watching some curling one day. They throw 8 stones each. 8 stones each team, right? So they get to the last stone. There's 1 stone left in the end. And the broadcast goes on commercial. I will say this for them. When it came back from commercial, they had to show us that one last stone. Okay? They showed us the one last stone. But what are you doing? You build up all this drama for 8-9 minutes. We watch all 15 stones. We get to the 16th stone for the conclusion of the end. Who's going to score all these points? And then you cliffhanger us? Like this is Desperate Housewives or something? What? If I hadn't already lost faith in the Olympics because none of the snow is real, yeah, artificial snow all over China for the Olympics, okay? So I can't see the skiing when I'm supposed to see the skiing. When I find the curling don't end properly at the end of each end. Then the snow's fake everywhere, right? We got stars falling down all over the hills. It was a mess. And I haven't even talked about the 15-year-old from Russia who had performance-enhancing drugs in her body for figure skating. Okay? I don't know that young lady. I don't know any of her circumstances. Right? From the little I found out, it seems like she didn't know that stuff was in her system. She might have taken her grandpa's pills by accident. Okay. Russia, they have a history of having some people perform in athletics that always seem to have an advantage they're not supposed to have. Okay? If you know what I'm saying. If you haven't seen the documentary on Netflix called Icarus, 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 go watch that thing, okay? Just go watch that thing and see part of the reason why Russia competes in athletics as the Russian Olympic Committee as opposed to Russia. Just go have a look. Just watch it. You will not be disappointed if you haven't seen Icarus yet. And buckle up because it is a ride. All right? But those were all the things going on with the Olympics. And then there's all sorts of political issues with China as well and other countries and doing business with China. I'm not smart enough or well-read enough to dig into any of that stuff. But it was all just kind of... She's 15, 15-year-old girl with the stuff, with the drugs. and the competing, and she's supposed to be the best in the world, and then all the stress where everybody knows out that she has stuff in her system she's not supposed to have, and then she competes and she falls down. I didn't have the heart. I didn't have the heart to watch it. I just was not into this Olympics, and I was excited. There were some events I wanted to see. Have you heard of ski cross? Go look up ski cross. So Icarus and ski cross. Go look up those two things. Ski cross looks like it's a lot of fun. Couldn't find it. It wasn't on when I needed it to be on. You know what I mean? A lot of sports. A lot of them unsatisfying. I wish I had more for you people this week. These were a lot of unsatisfying sports. There you go. There'll be more next week. I'm working on some stuff. There'll be some movies I watch. I got to do some research. I'm going to give you some good stuff next week. But these sports needed to be talked about. And I guess I needed to vent. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much for listening and watching. It's in the details. As always, smash those buttons, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will see y'all in a week. Take care. Peace.